acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Mississauga New Credit, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron Nation.
Today is the day we enter into the suffering of Jesus Christ, who was Emmanuel, God with us, who entered into our sufferings and sorrows. He died a death like so many prophets of love, an enemy of the state. Yet he was also the beloved child of Mary, his mother. The icon of the sorrowful mother or mother of compassion is an ancient and powerful tradition where people contemplate the 7 sorrows of Mother Mary and her solidarity with all parents, people, and families from powers that attack the bonds of love and community.
Today we join in this ancient tradition as our sorrows connect us to the heartstrings of the sorrowful mother. We stand with her as she grieves in the execution of her child. We weep with her and all our parents and our community members whose hearts are pierced with sorrow. We weep together and our hearts bleed. Please respond in petition. As our tears fall from the heaven with reply, and our heart of the compassion is pierced, my justice reign in this land.
The first sorrow to pierce the Mother of God was her giving birth in a barn. Pregnant Mary was forced to walk miles. With the pangs of birth overtook her, no one would give her shelter. She had to give birth in the dirt of a stable. Your suffering, O sorrowful mother, is known by all who give birth in back alleys, homelessness, and poverty, without the loving and supportive hands of wise elders, midwives, and knowledge keepers. For all who have had their newborns taken against their will, for all whose experience of pregnancy and birth is traumatic, for all who are pregnant or giving birth during this difficult time with COVID-19, for all who are turned away from shelter, for all whom Mother Earth is their only support. As your tears fall from heaven and your heart of compassion is pierced, may justice reign in this land.
The second sorrow of Mary is the flight to Egypt immediately after Jesus' birth. The king was threatened by the birth of Jesus and sent out a rule to kill all recently born babies. Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus had to flee as refugees and leave their home. Your fear, O Mother of Tears, is known by all who have had to flee with children from war, violence, and chaos. We hold before your compassionate heart all parents and families who must make scary journeys, for all LGBTQ youth and youth who flee unsafe homes, for all children detained at borders, for all refugee parents who grieve children injured or killed on the flight from terror. May all people have safety and protection as your tears fall from heaven and your heart of compassion is pierced. May justice reign in this land.
The third sorrow of Mary is the loss of Jesus. When he went missing on their trip to Jerusalem, your trembling, O Mary, is felt by all who have had their children taken from their loving arms by the Children's Aid Society, the RCMP, and residential school officials. We acknowledge the heartbreak of the families of missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, Two-Spirit, and Queers people, and the 60 Scoop survivors, and all peoples. We acknowledge the survivors and families who led us in the path of justice. We lift before the Creator's loving arms the anxiety and fear of all whose loved ones are missing. As your tears fall from heaven and your heart of compassion is pierced, may justice reign in this land.
The fifth sorrow of Mary, seeing her son die on the cross. She stands by his side. She will not look away. Her tears fall as the earth as her son's blood flows. She witnesses the crowds mock her son and the soldiers laugh and torture him. The agony of all who witness their land one suffer at the hands of the powerful, for all abused, for all whom are tortured, executed, for all whose loved ones have been murdered. As our tears fall from the heavens, all our heart of the compassion is pierced. May justice reign in this land forever.
The sixth sorrow of Mary is receiving the dead body of her son into her arms. We hear her cries as she bitterly wails while holding his cold, broken body. We pray for all who've had this dreadful experience, or all who have found loved ones died by suicide. For all who have held their loved ones taken too soon. For all who have lived with the trauma of death. For those who are dying alone of the COVID-19 or other ailments in these difficult days. As your tears fall from heaven and your heart of compassion is pierced, may justice reign in this land.
The seventh sorrow of Mary is the burial of her son. We pray for all who stand over the grave of one stolen from our circles of love and relationship. For the children who died at residential schools, whose bodies lay in unmarked graves. For all who have died in the overdose crisis. For all missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited peoples. For all families who search for their loved ones who they never got to bury. For all who mourn.
We read an ancient prayer, God of mercy, let us run where you font us sorrows flow, pondering sweetly, are by one Jesus wounds Mary's woes. Ah, those tears Our Lady shed, enough down a world of sin. Amen.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they nailed him to the tree?
Did I miss something?
No, you did really good.
That was everything?
Yeah, that was everything. Do you want to offer a prayer? Go.
Ani, Reverend Malcolm Anistishnikas, my GST name. Kani Anistishnikas ke. Every koi ko jung as dujiba. Mi wet sanisa nun tu yang manungum nas Easter Sunday api manetu ans ka lunzio. Now Anisa and Jesus fights in the casa. Nanisa where Easter Sunday to do the mangwa. Jimmy White sub is in Doyang, Minishum stuff Nikuma. Jimmy Wet.
I danced on the Sabbath and I cured the lame. The holy people said it was a shame. They whipped and they stripped and they hung me on high, and they left me there on a cross to die.